Show. Today we'll be making Georgian fry bread. Why do I keep saying fry bread? Welcome back to Not Your Mom's Cooking Show. Today we'll be making Khachapuri, or also known as Georgian Cheese Bread. This recipe is a little bit different because this one comes straight from our comment section. Shout out to Anatoly for suggesting this recipe. I had no idea what Khachapuri was, but the words cheese bread is something that caught my interest instantly. And as you guys already know, we love cheese here on Not Your Mama's Cooking Show. Before we get started, this recipe comes from Food Wishes on YouTube. You can also find them on Blogspot and allrecipes.com. Links down below. This recipe yields 2 pieces of Khachapuri, just so you know. So if you're gonna try and make it and you just wanna make one, just cut the recipe in half. Are you ready? Let's get started. For the dough, you will need 1/2 a cup of warm milk, 1/3 cup of warm water, 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast, 1.5 teaspoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of olive oil, 2 cups of flour, 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. All right, so to get started, we are going to take our milk, our warm water, our sugar, and our yeast. Now I'm gonna cover it with a towel and wait about 5 to 10 minutes to let the yeast activate. Our yeast has been sitting, we let that activate. So now I'm gonna add my flour, my oil, and my kosher salt. I'm gonna put it in our mixer. My dough hook attachment, lock that in place and start stirring. Making sure to stop every couple minutes and to scrape the dough from the sides. Now the dough is all mixed together, I'm gonna take a grease bowl. I put a little bit of olive oil in here and I'm just gonna kind of spread it around. Take the dough and put it in the bowl. I'm gonna cover that with the same towel that I used to cover it with the yeast. We're gonna let this sit for about an hour, let it double in size, and then we're gonna mix everything together. The dough is done. It's been sitting for about an hour now. I'm gonna go ahead and deflate it a little bit. And then it says we should cut this in half. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna weigh it real quick. I think I put too much oil in here. So it says it's about 1 pound. So I'm just gonna rip it in half. I'm gonna take flour and I'm gonna sprinkle it on some parchment paper. Spread it out. I'm gonna take my dough ball. My dough ball is actually gonna absorb this flour because it's super greasy. I'm just gonna take a rolling pin. I feel like that'll be easier to help stretch it out. I'm gonna take a cheese blend of Monterey Jack, mozzarella, and feta. I mixed it all together. So here I have about 2 ounces of that mix. Create a couple rows of cheese. This is where I'm going to wrap the crust. And row number 2. And then I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna wrap each end. You want about an inch from the end to where the row of cheese begins, and then you want to wrap it over and under. Kind of take the ends, and they said you could do it however. The guy did like a little twisty method, so that's what I'm gonna do. It's just kind of over and under, and do like a little pretzel twist at the end. It says I could pull some off at the end, but you know, I'm just gonna leave it on there. I feel like that's gonna be good dipping. I'm gonna weigh out another 4 ounces of cheese, and I'm just gonna put it in the middle, kind of spread it out. Now that I've got it all put together, I'm gonna take an egg and I'm gonna create an egg wash. Beat it up real quick. I'm gonna take my brush and my wash. I'm just gonna slather the egg on the crust. And it really creates this super nice golden brown color on the crust, which looks absolutely amazing. If anybody out there has ever made Khachapuri before, please leave comments down below and tell me what you thought. If anyone's ever tried it and this looks different from what they had, also leave comments down below. I'm looking for as much feedback as I can get. You know, when you try new things that you haven't tried before, you really have no idea besides the recipe what it's supposed to be like. Then you learn. So now that the egg wash is in, I'm going to take some parsley flakes that I chopped up recently. Alright, so now that everything's ready, I'm going to take my pan, I'm going to place it in a 475-degree oven for about 15-20 minutes. And then when that's done, I'm going to pull it out, I'm going to crack an egg on top, put it in for a couple more minutes, and then we'll be time to eat. Now that it's out of the oven, I'm going to take 2 eggs, 1 for each piece, and I'm going to take a spoon, I'm going to push the cheese down to kind of deepen the pool so the egg can go in the center. Take an egg. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back in the oven for a few more minutes, trying to get the egg to settle, cook a little bit, but not too much because we want it to be kind of runny. So let's do that. Now that the egg is set, I'm going to throw a little bit of butter on each side of the egg, sprinkle it with some cayenne pepper and some sea salt. Sprinkle a little bit of cayenne. And we're just going to go with a little pinch of sea salt on top. All right, our Khatchapuri is done. And oh my God, this thing looks insane. Basically what we got here is we got our stuffed crust, we got our edges here, almost like a roll. Looks like the cross between a roll and a pastry. When it was all finished, I sprinkled some cayenne pepper, some sea salt, and I put butter on the ends. Since then the butter is melted, and it's just this pool of oozy goodness right in the center, so let's give it a shot. So right now I didn't get any cheese. I was just butter and egg, but the bread is delicious. The cayenne is just like the right amount of spice. Gave it spiciness. A combination of the runny egg, the cheese, the cayenne pepper, the sea salt. Oh, it's so good. I'm gonna pull off this end now. See if I can get some yolk going. Some yolk and some cheese. Now I want to get into the cheesy part. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut an end off right here. I really don't want to break into the bowl because I don't want it to run. I just want to show you the cheese in the middle. It's nice and gooey. It's like a grilled cheese, but the cheese is just melted into the bread itself. And then you got the egg and the cayenne pepper. Oh my God, look at that. Oh, that was amazing. It's just the right amount of cheese. Khachapuri, everyone. If you haven't tried it before, if you ever get a chance to try it at a restaurant or something, definitely do that. If you haven't already, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Like us on Facebook at Not Your Mama's Cooking Show. Like us on Instagram at Not Your Mama's Cooking Show. And with that being said, thanks for watching. I'm gonna chow down now on my Khachapuri. Catch you next time.